Let me sorry, just a moment. All right, okay, right. We are live, and welcome. Good evening to everybody. And today we have a special guest all the way from Hong Kong, and his name is Haywood. And today is a special timing as well. Usually I do my show at 9 o'clock, but my guests can only make it at 8 o'clock. So we will just shift the timing a little, but no worries. We'll still have the same fun time over the next 30 minutes, 40 minutes to exchange our experiences. So for today's share visiting from out to the starting his own business. Okay, so Haywood, I'll just hand over time to you. Maybe just share a little bit of what you who you are and what do you do and why do you do what you do.
Thank you so much for having me. You know what? I'll call you by the happy coach because that's easier to remember. I never call you Tai, and we met very recently at a lunch club, and that's been very grateful opportunity. I'm very blessed by it because it's hard to come across someone where I really just have a great conversation with, and the values align, and this is why I'm coming to your podcast because it's just a great experience to share with you and your listeners on maybe inspiring others out there. And my journey really started off being a very typical journey from
Mhm.
going to high school, university, getting a finance degree, and then going out to the corporate world. And I actually chose the tech route as opposed to the finance route because of how tech is enabling the world to be a better place. And I went into kind of a tech environment, the enterprise sales for a very large IT company. And that's been the past 8 years of my life. And it's been such a great learning experience in a way that it's been learning about what structure, responsibility, kind of sense of achievement is. But there was always something missing in terms of that entrepreneurial tick inside me. And that tick was really about, okay, am I fully utilizing my potential? Am I fully utilizing the learning in the current job environment that I have? And as soon as you start having that tick, you realize that, hey, is my time spent well worth it inside a company? And that was when I started really making that kind of switch in direction to try different things out. And I tried a few side hustles when I was in my job. But now I think I found an idea, validated a problem that really resonated with me and my partners. And that's why I kind of jumped ship to going all in into something that seems to be exciting. So that's my kind of summary in a 1 minute.
All right, okay, so let's just dial back the time a little. Let's bring us back to maybe when you were in a university getting an education. At that point of time when you were studying, do you have a clear idea that of what were you going to do moving forward in the future after you graduate and all that? Do
Yeah,
you already have?
so back in high school, university, I've always seen myself as an extrovert. So I took the Myers-Briggs and I got an ENFP rating. And that was the most extrovert you can be in terms of the 16 categories you have there. And that kind of landed me in jobs where I should be in sales, in marketing, in customer facing kind of lines. And I took that to heart and I believed in it. So that's why I went for kind of like a sales trajectory. And I think from that perspective, there were times where I questioned myself, was I really an extrovert or was I more an introvert? And I think that period of going into a corporate job or in the early stages of career whether you're a freelancer, it's an area for you to really explore and discover yourself. So I think I spent a good 8 years discovering who I was in the corporate world. And now I think it has been the building block to what I'm doing now. So hopefully that answers your question.
All right, all right. Okay, so when you were in the corporate world, what are some of the challenges that you faced working in the corporate world?
I think the main challenge I faced was the freedom and room for creativity. Because then from a sales perspective, you're really
Yep.
after what new logos, what kind of sales targets are you hitting, And fine, you can do those sales in very creative ways. But if you want to help the customer a bit more, you have to rely on other departments. And those departments, whether it's marketing or product or IT teams, to help give your customer a better experience, it's kind of out of your control because everyone's incentives are misaligned in a way. And working in corporate, the company size is so big, it's hard to align everyone's incentives. Everyone has different journeys, different stages in their life. But in the end of the day, what matters is the experience and the kind of recurring satisfaction from your customer. But really making a big company to make sure that whole user customer journey is great, it's actually a very tough job. So I felt like, hey, I was a very small cog in a very complex system. Am I really doing my part? Fine, if I was doing my part, but are others helping or supporting the same way? Maybe not. And that's the realization that I had.
All right, all right. So when you realize that there's something short in this in this role that you're playing with the corporate company, what were your plans? What were your thoughts? Do you decided to just stick it through like many people? Because most people they'll be comfortable where they are and they don't want to change because entrepreneurship is it's a different ball game altogether, and most people they don't know how to go about it. So what were your thoughts at that time? Were you in your comfort zone? Would you
Yeah.
or what?
So I think I tried 2 side hustles before, and thankfully my company gives me the flexibility to do the side hustles. So you start testing your waters to understand what are you good at, what are you not good at, and in terms of what are you not good at, what kind of support can you leverage on, whether it's blogs that you research, whether it's people that you want to partner with to cover that weakness to make it into a synergetic format. And from my perspective, it's really having those opportunities to test my barriers. And I realized that, okay, there are a few elements, especially in Asian cultures, where people really emphasize on that trajectory of how much you're earning per month. Are you providing security for your family, for your future generations? And those thoughts definitely come to part, and now more than ever. But what I came to realization is, okay, I got married. I'm not having kids yet. My personal side is late to rest in a way. Can I take that risk now? What is stopping me from taking that risk? Because what do I have to lose? And it's that question that really prompted me to go the next step. What do I have to lose? It's not like we're completely green coming out. There is some experience. We've seen the good and bads of how people deal in business. And I think that's helped me push myself over the edge. And what's important is you always set yourself the time window of this is my period for experimentation. It's not like you're coming out of university, going straight into entrepreneurship, and when you fail, you go back into the corporate. It might be a bit harder because you don't have that corporate experience, but I have something to fall on. And that has helped me in moving towards this next step.
So was there a runway that you eventually led to you coming out of your employment? Is there a runway that you planned for yourself, or you immediately took the leap of faith? How did it work
There's
out for
definitely
you?
a runway. So this this hustle that we're doing now, which is an actual business, we started off as a side hustle to test, to experiment. Because I realize you hear different opinions of, hey, you got to go all in or you're not committed. Well, I'm not really a big believer in that because everyone has a circumstance. And for my circumstance, it's the risk-adjusted approach. But once you validated the demand, and that's some key thing, validated market demand, and you're not building a solution for a non-problem, then that's enough faith for me to really jump out.
Got it. Right. So were there any mentors that mentored you along the way, or someone that you look up to and you model after?
Yes. So I have 3 mentors, and how the mentor chooses me or I choose mentor is mainly from the perspective that they're not in the industry that I'm in, because they offer a fresh perspective, and potentially from different age groups, experiences as well. So one of my first mentors, he's 82 right now, and every single birthday he does the amount of push-ups equated to his age. So he's 82 and he does 82 push-ups every birthday. But that's a side conversation. Pretty cool. But the point is, his experience is He's a Guaylo, like a Westerner that came to Hong Kong in the 1960s, and really a minority in the whole kind of spectrum of things. And from an entrepreneurship perspective, you're always a minority because you're not following the corporate route. So that gives me perspective into this job. Now, the second, third mentors are completely different industries, maybe a bit younger, and they're not necessarily in the tech sector, but they have experiences, whether it's fundraising, whether it's how to grow a scalable team, different experiences, different perspectives. So I have three mentors that I'm really grateful for.
So what are the qualities that you look out for in your mentors?
No BS. No BS. And it's for people that have really been through the thick and thin. Not really, going after, like, I don't care if they're a board member of a really big company, because those guys, their incentives are not aligned from my perspective. You're after your compensation, you're after your bonus. You might say for 3 years to build your resume, but the mentors, really, they should have started their own businesses, because that's what I'm going through right now. So that's important from my perspective.
All right. So what are some of the skill sets or some of the mindset that you feel is necessary or helpful for someone who wants to go on the entrepreneurship road?
I think the first thing is to keep an open mind. The largest competition is actually your own ego. So putting that ego aside and just listening to that customer, because you might think that your solution at the start for the idea is the best, but it never is. Even the first product we're building right now, it's going to change in 2 years' time, because the market is always the truth, not your mind. So I think that is probably the biggest lesson I'm learned so far. I think another quality that I think people that want to step into entrepreneurship needs to do is that the ability to meet people from different walks of life. It's not just about the respect of wherever that person came from, but it's more about...
It's my friends from policy work. Yeah. Hello.
Hi.
Well, you're just saying that there's a little bit of background noise. Sorry for that. Yeah.
Sorry for that, guys. Sorry for that. But yeah, it really is about the whole aspect of just reaching out to different people from walks of life and understanding where they come from, because sometimes they can be your partner, they can be a prospect, they can be your future employee. So it's just keeping an open mind, really, that resonates around that point.
All right. So other than that, what has helped you along the way, or what are some of the things that you felt that you could have done differently as compared to if you were given a chance to go back in time?
I think if I went back in time, I wouldn't do things differently in a way, because it's always good to look in hindsight and retrospect, but it's hard to reflect from that perspective, because that experience, especially the lows in a company, has become the pivot point of me jumping ship. So I've taken a different perspective there. I there's no regrets, and I wouldn't do things any differently compared to back then.
So you won't do things differently?
No, because it's a learning experience, especially when you fail. I wouldn't do things differently, because I feel like there's no point in looking at things or what I would do differently. But if I do things differently, then I might have stuck with my second hustle, or I might have just stuck in my corporate job because I do it so well. Then I wouldn't be where I am today. So I just don't look so much in the past and just always try to improve forward.
All right. So what are some of the lessons that you have learned from some of the challenges? Maybe describe some of the challenges or some of the failures that you went through, and what are some of the takeaways that you got out of that?
Yeah, so from a sales perspective, there's customers where you give you so much hype. They say, I'm going to sign this deal, I'm going to commit to you, but nothing matters until it's black and white, ink on paper. And I think it's all about managing your own expectations, but that comes with experience. And I think from that perspective, that is really what I learned, because you can apply that to any business world, any job you're in.
Right. And moving forward, what are you looking forward to in the next 12 months for your business?
Or your customer. These are things where it's just it's a lesson learned. It's a lesson learned, and I've been through so many of those challenges, and those are the lows where you just have to get through. So like sidetrack a little bit there, right? Like I realized and why we didn't work out in the past two hustles, not because there weren't growth. It's because when you hit the lows in a startup, if you're not remotely interested in what you do and that problem that you're solving, being obsessed with it, it's very hard to self-motivate yourself. And that's probably my biggest lessons learned.
Right, self-motivation. So how do you overcome that right now?
Few things. Music is a very big meditation for me. You know, when people think of meditation, there's this stigma that it has to be like, you know, sitting cross-legged doing this. For me,
Yeah.
meditation is just about feeling good and internalizing, crystallizing your thoughts. And for me, it's about music, and especially I'm really into trance music. Some people might have a stigma of, hey, it's EDM, it's not good. But for me, it's been a very big reliever. Having your support structure with your wife, with your family, that's also very important. Speaking to partners openly, having constructive arguments, constructive radicalization is a very big term for us in a company. So being upfront, but finding a solution to each of your problems collectively. And instead of butting in a meeting, let them speak first, then crystallize, internalize, and comment. Maybe have a sleep over it, then talk about it the next day. These are things which I've learned over the years.
Right, right. So what are some of the people that you have met along your entrepreneurship journey? What are some of those that have made a positive impact in your journey?
So definitely my wife. She's been very supportive throughout the whole tenure, and I'm so grateful to have her in my life. And some of the public figures out there, I would say, are some of the venture capitalist, angel, seed investors, because that's in my field right now. And they've seen bad startups, they've seen good startups. So learning from them about good business models, good attitude, having dignity in what you do, those have been very important. So for example, Jason Calacanis, check him out. He hosts a podcast called This Week in Startups Twist. Highly recommend if you want to go in entrepreneurship community. I think people from outside the venture community, outside the personal life, definitely would be the like Tony Robbins, right?
Tony
For me,
Robbins.
he's very, very self-motivating. And I think even, you know, it's a little drip and feed of, don't listen to them all the time, but there's some gems in there from time to time, right? Because in the end of the day, if you listen but you don't take action, what's the point?
Yeah, agree. Totally. So is there someone that keeps you accountable and keeps you in check to kick your butt? Do you have someone like that who kicks you in the butt?
My wife, man. My wife all the time. But anyway, okay, aside from personal life, your partners, your co-founders, you need to know each other's strengths and weaknesses. And one lesson I learned is if you go into business with friends, it can work out, but also large chances it won't work out because you have just so much history and you don't want to compromise a relationship. So the founders that I'm working with right now used to be my ex-customers. So we started off from a business context. And now we know how each other function and we keep other in check. Just because you're the boss of the company doesn't mean you don't have KPIs that you need to set yourself. And it's KPIs that you agree as a team and not that you set yourself so you're not biased. And these KPIs, because you can track it. So you keep yourself in check. And you also keep yourself in check by how customers respond to your service or your software, your company. And these things, they're not biased. You don't pay customers for reviews. And those things really keep us in check.
Right. All right. So what are you looking forward to for your business? What plans do you have for your business and also for yourself? Maybe you start with the businesses.
So from business perspective, we're solving one very simple problem. Accounting is a pain for small business owners and startup founders. And there's many ways of how people are dealing with this. Traditional accountants, they might use Xero or QuickBooks, but they have to learn a steep learning curve without learning accounting terms. And I think from my perspective, it's really educating the customer, making it more affordable, flexible, easy language, you know, for them to understand, to use. And the main motto is you started your business to do what you love. Whether you're a Zumba instructor or yoga instructor, you don't do your business to do accounting and admin, insurance. All these things are necessary, but you focus on what you love, and you should either delegate or outsource the rest to someone you trust until you reach a certain size. So the kind of goals for our business is to reach 1,500 customers at the end of this year, whether it's in the US or Singapore or Hong Kong. And we're going through a fundraising round at the moment, and we hope we can close the round.
Right. Very good. And how about yourself personally? What are some of the goals that you set for yourself?
Personally, want to lose some weight this year, gain some weight. Too much socializing, but apart from that, it's reading 52 books this year, one book a week. And not just reading that, but after reading each book, speak to other people that have read this book and you hear their perspective from it. It might be different than yours. And that's already quite good synergy, I would say. I think also another aspect is learning how to build an executive team, learning how to hire slow but fire fast, and building that team to help you scale. Trust in that people, let them do their job, don't micromanage. And that's something I'm learning.
So what do you look for in someone who wants to join your team? What are some of your qualifying criteria, or some of your things that's definitely a no-go if you see in person?
Well, we revolve around the culture of the company, and that comes from 4 pillars. One of them is energy. You have to give high energy, especially in the lows. As long as you have a positive attitude in life, that's already a big plus. The second one, be curious. You learn the most when you ask questions. Don't be your egotistical self and pretend you know everything, because no one does. The third one is be innovative. Just because you do an accounting role, think of things where you can improve your own role and speak to our tech team and just have that collaborative environment. And the fourth thing is be impactful. Are we really helping business owners save time and cost? Yes. If that's the answer and you're contributing to that, that picks our books.
All right. So it's impactful, innovative. What else?
Curious and energy.
Curious and energy. All right. Let me just get it typed down. Core values. Core values. All right. I think this is a very good core values that most of us should have. I think I love the part about being curious and being of high energy, because as a life coach, sometimes it is very difficult for somebody to bring somebody from negative to positive energy. And sometimes one of the challenges that I face is when they choose not to get out of that hole that they have dug themselves into. Of course, we can, as coaches, I'll equip my clients with some of the skills and some of the highlight some of the blind spots. But at the end of the day, that person has to choose to grab that rope and climb out of that hole as well. So I agree with that energy part, and being curious. I think that's also another good value to have. That is about constantly asking, and not just asking, but asking good questions, and also learning from every person, every opportunity, and taking every opportunity to learn and upgrade the skills. I think being curious, especially in this world, in this new economy where things change very fast, I think it is very important to constantly stay curious and stay hungry to learn. I think these are very important values that we all need to have, especially as entrepreneurs.
For sure, definitely.
So what's the impact that you want to create through your business or in a personal manner, in the personal capacity? What do you want to create?
I think what we want to create from a business perspective is really saving time and investing in a right way as a small business owner. You have finite resources. You should spend more time on sales and your customer, refining the processes inside, and not dealing with books, accounting, not dealing with admin related things. So that's one of our vision. How do we offer a back office as a service, but in a fun way for customers not to feel intimidated? And that's very important for us. And I think it's personally, really, it's just giving good energy and vibes out there. And that's important. That's important. Yeah.
Yeah. All right. So today is a very short session, so we just keep it to half an hour. But if you'd like to connect with Haywood, how can my friends connect with you? they want to find out more about you?
Check us out at binary.co, and it's binary with an E, so it's binery.co. And you can email me anytime at Haywood, Haywood, at binary.co, and that's binary with an E.
Connect with Haywood. All right, let me just put it up. So this is the website, right? Binary, binery.co. That's the one, right?
Yeah.
All right, so please connect with Haywood. He's an awesome person, and he has lots of experience to share. Today, in fact, we just only scratched the tip of the iceberg. Yeah. So, Haywood, so I'm wishing you all the best in your business, and I'm very sure that this is going to be a great year. To the rest of my friends who have tuned in at this unusual timing for the Happy Coach, please connect with Haywood. Feel free to connect with him. And if you have questions for Haywood in terms of entrepreneurship, or in terms of accounting, or in terms of life in general, please feel free to connect with him. You are usually on LinkedIn or Facebook?
Yes, LinkedIn and Twitter. Twitter is at Haywood Chum. Yeah, mainly on
Haywood
Twitter
Chum.
and email.
Haywood Chum. So they just type in your name and they can find
you.
All right. Okay, thanks, Haywood, for your time and for your sharing. And there's so much to unpack. But just remember this: you forget everything else. Just remember this: be impactful, be innovative, constantly be curious to learn, and have lots of positive energy about you. Yeah, this is your company core values, right? Just check.
Yes, correct.
Excellent. I think we all have these values, and wish you a very good evening ahead. Haywood, you have a very good evening. And
thank you so much.
A fruitful year ahead, and wish you success in your current fundraising. It's which stage are you at of fundraising?
We're at seed stage right now, but we're raising a $5 million round. So hopefully we can close it.
All the best, Haywood. Thank you.
Thank you, man. Bye.
Broadcast here. Bye-bye.
Thank you, everyone. Bye.